This is the civilization for NLL. Hello and welcome back to the Noble Leaders League. I'm Kjotleik. This is the game between Frederick and Alexander in the 3rd division in the round 3. Frederick is 12 in the league with 1 point after a draw and a loss. Alexander is number 10 after a win and a loss with his 2 points. One thing these two leaders have in common is that they have both lost to Montezuma during the opening 2 rounds. Now let's take a look at the starting positions. Frederick is starting down south on this continent that is to the west. We see the continent here, starting continent. It's a possibility to go to the little continent connecting up to the Antarctic, and this little island down here can also be taken on. I think maybe they can get here as well, and maybe there is a possibility that he can reach this one, I don't know, but at least this one and this one is not available until astronomy. So we see that Frederick starts here with some fish and some crab, and there is clam there are pigs, there is marble, decentish. If we go to the north, the bigger part of the continent is the starting position of Alexander. He starts next to some floodplains. There is gold, there are pigs, there is iron, there is another pig, there is also aluminum up here. So this is a reasonable, I think a very good starting position. We'll just have to wait and see which of the leaders can make the most out of this, so without delaying it any further, let's start the game. Off we go. It's Frederick versus Alexander, and Alexander is already angry at Frederick. This bodes well, doesn't it? Second city for the German leader before Alexander got his second. We are at turn 70 soon. There's turn 70. 3 cities Frederick. He has gone down to the continent connecting up to the Antarctic. Alexander has 3 cities. He is keeping himself up to the northeastern part of the starting continent. 5 cities. Turn 150. 4 in city count to Frederick. When we passed 1 AD, and it's going very fast, and we see that it's 5 cities each. They are not particularly happy with each other. Frederick up to 6 cities, Alexander with 5. We are close to turn 150. 7, 6 in the city count. They are equal in strength. Frederick a little bit weaker, and now we have the first war. That was turn 150 something. Frederick in the golden age, 8 cities to 6. 9 cities to 6. Frederick is settling cities while fighting, and Frederick is 1.1 times the strength of Alexander. 1.2 maybe. Alexander is losing some units now. It looks that way because Frederick is increasing his power up to 1.5 and Alexander is down to 5 cities. This could be an early conquest if Frederick, but we have the peace treaty. Oh, we do have the peace treaty. Pre-turn 200 peace treaty after Alexander has lost some units. Frederick is 1.3 times the strong as Alexander now, but Alexander is building up his units again. 10 cities to 6 favoring Frederick. Frederick, more cities, 11 to 7, and Frederick is going for machinery while Alexander is going, well, metal casting and stuff. Frederick is 1.7 times the strongest Alexander now. Frederick is building up units. Alexander is furious towards Frederick. Frederick on engineering. Alexander, yeah, we have the next war. Frederick is 2.1 times as strong, and Alexander is down to 8 cities. Frederick with 11 to 8, turn 232. Alexander with 8 cities left. Frederick is 1.6. Oh, Frederick is losing some units now. It's down to 1.6 times the strength, but he's going for optics. Alexander is going for paper. Alexander is up to 9 cities. Frederick with 12. Frederick is also going for astronomy. Alexander is going for the paper, and then oh, there is the peace treaty going for the machinery, but we have a peace treaty and Frederick 1.7 times the strength of Alexander, 12 cities to 10. Frederick is trying to go for astronomy, but is going pretty slowly towards astronomy. Turn 256. We have Frederick going towards astronomy, Alexander going towards engineering. Frederick is 1.7 times as strong as Alexander, 13 cities for Germany, 10 for Greece. and we have circumnavigation for Frederick. And we have the next war as well. 13 cities Frederick, 10 cities Alexander. Frederick is 1.8 times as strong. Let us see what happens. Alexander is going for banking, Frederick is going for the civil service. 13 to 10 is the city count, still 14 to 10 as it settles that rather small continent. 14 to 10 still. Alexander is going for the compass, Frederick is going towards the guilds. Alexander has settled the continent island in the north middle, and now we see Frederick has another city all the way to the east, on that continent to the east. Alexander is going to try to go for astronomy as well. Frederick is getting banking now, 16 to 10, and Frederick is increasing his city count. And there is a peace treaty, 16 to 10 cities favoring Frederick, that is going for philosophy, while Alexander still hasn't gotten to astronomy. 16 to 10 is the city count, turn 303. Frederick has completed Hagia Sophia, okay, turn 305. 16 cities to 10, but now Alexander is getting astronomy. Frederick is on education, 2 turns away from that. Alexander is going for civil service, 16 to 10 is the city count, and Frederick is 1.5 times as strong as Alexander. Alexander may be building up some units. Frederick is going for liberalism though, while Alexander is trying to reach nationalism, and Frederick is first to liberalism and is going for constitution next, and 1.6 times as strong, 17 to 13. Alexander has 13 cities now, he is expanding a little bit overseas. We have the next war though, and Frederick is down to 1.4 times as strong as Alexander. Frederick might have lost some units there, 18 cities to 13. Alexander is going for gunpowder while Frederick is on economics. Frederick is 1.4 times as strong as Alexander. Can Alexander get back into this now? 20 cities to Frederick, 13 for Alexander, but Alexander is on gunpowder. What is Frederick going to do? Yeah, he gets gunpowder as well, so I guess that's it then. He's going to be comparable. Both of them are getting gunpowder at the same time. Frederick is 1.5 times as strong as Alexander, 20 cities to 13. He doesn't seem to be taking any cities. Alexander is going for chemistry. What is Frederick going to do? He's going for the printing press. But Alexander, yeah, he's a little bit behind. Frederick is only 1.4 times as strong as Alexander though. 20 cities to 13 is not a decisive advantage. If Alexander can build up his military, he could still win this game. We are close to turn 350, but there is an advantage, replaceable parts now for Frederick. Frederick has 20 cities to Alexander's 13, and that is an advantage that he should be able to make count. Going for democracy next, Alexander on military science. Frederick 1.4 times as strong as Alexander, 21 cities to 13. Democracy next, and we have the next war. We are at war. 23 to 12 cities. And Frederick has only 1.3 times the strength of Alexander now. He probably lost some units. 23 to 12. Frederick going for the chemistry. Alexander is getting military science. Now Alexander is winning some, grabbing some units, or Frederick is losing units in the war. Frederick is only 1.2 times as strong as Alexander now. Can Alexander turn this around? He has only half the number of cities as Frederick, but there is a peace treaty, and Frederick is going for steel now. That will help the German leader, and Alexander is going towards the constitution, but is going slowly towards constitution. Could Alexander be on a cultural victory attempt here? I think he's taking rather slowly. Either that or he's upgrading units. Turn 376, 23 cities to 12 in favor of Frederick. I think that Frederick should be able to take advantage of this, but he is not too strong. He's going for scientific method. 1.2 times the strength of Alexander, 1.1 times the strength of Alexander, and given that Frederick almost has twice the number of cities as Alexander, that is not a very good strength. And Frederick, yeah, he probably did something there. He's trying to go for steam powder now. Alexander getting his economics and corporations. 13 cities for Alexander now. It's up to 13 and Frederick is down to 22, and they are equal in strength. Frederick has 1.0 the strength of Alexander, which means that Alexander is striking, coming back from behind, but Frederick is up to 1.1 times now. 13 cities for Alexander, but Alexander is almost as strong as Frederick. Frederick is going for railroads though. He could be getting it. Frederick 23 cities to 13 after founding that city down at the Antarctic. Turn 400 is here, 100 turns left. Combustion next for Frederick. Military tradition for Alexander. Frederick is 1.2 times as strong as Alexander, and there is another peace treaty signed. But Frederick does not seem to take advantage of his city count compared to Alexander. He's up to 1.3 times the strength now again, 1.4. So apparently he is building units now and is getting combustion. And Alexander is on printing press, 23, 24 cities to 13. Now Frederick is building units again, going for the physics. And Alexander is soon to printing press, but Frederick is 1.4 times as strong as Alexander. I am a little bit disappointed that Frederick hasn't gotten this game by now. There is the next war, yeah, he attacks. Well, I didn't see who attacked actually, but we have the attack no matter what. 24 cities to 13, favoring Frederick. He is 1.5 times as strong as Alexander now, going for the physics. Alexander going for the democracy. Turn 417. The question is, can Frederick win domination before turn 500? We have 80 turns left. Going for the physics here, 24 cities to 13. And now he's 1.7 times as strong as Alexander, and it looks like Alexander is losing units in this war right now. Turn 423. Frederick is on assembly line. Frederick is on assembly line, and he has 25 cities to Alexander's 14. They are still settling cities. And Frederick is building up, 1.8 times as strong as Alexander now. Alexander's going for replaceable parts, but Frederick is going for assembly line. Yeah, 25 to 14 cities, and they are still in the war. And Frederick, well, it seems like Alexander is losing some units. Frederick is soon to assembly line now. We are at turn 430, that's 70 turns left. 25 cities to 14. And fascism next for Frederick. Replaceable parts now for Alexander. Going for rifling next. The Greek leader. Will that come fast enough for him to defend himself to a point? Frederick does have the advantage. And Frederick should win this game now, but it's 60 turns left. Almost only 60 turns left here. But with 25 to 14, Frederick going for the electricity, and there are spies that are destroying stuff. Alexander, 14 cities. Frederick is 1.5 times as strong as Alexander, 1.6, 1.5. Maybe he's losing a few units in the war. Electricity is coming now though. Alexander is trying to go towards steam power. Frederick has electricity, 25 to 14, and now going for industrialism. That's going to take about 10 turns, but it's only 50 turns left of the game, and Frederick is not capable of taking any cities off of Alexander. Now he's only 1.4 times the strongest Greek leader as well, so Alexander is defending very well. He's not losing any cities. He has had 14 cities for a little while now and is going towards steam powder, but with Frederick on industrialism, turn 453. The question is, can Frederick get enough Greek cities fast enough to win this game? I'm beginning to doubt that Frederick is capable of doing it. Especially now that we have a peace treaty. 5 turns left until industrialism. Alexander is getting steam power. Frederick is only 1.5, 1.6 times as strong as Alexander with 25 to 14 cities. And turn 458, 459, it's only 40 turns left of the game, and Frederick still a few turns away from industrialism. He has not managed to capture that many Greek cities, so Alexander is defending himself into a point in this game, unless there is some cultural victory shenanigans going on somewhere that I don't see. Frederick is not going for it, that much is certain. But we have the next war, yes we have the next war, and Frederick has industrialism, but we have only 30 turns left. Alexander with 14 cities. How fast can Frederick do this? He has not been showing anything to suggest that he can win this domination before time runs out. 25 to 14 in the city count. Alexander is going for assembly line himself, Frederick for communism, but I don't see Frederick taking any cities, and it's only 27 turns left of the game, so this is going towards a draw. Frederick is trying, well, he's not trying for culture, he's only spending 20%, probably because his cities are unhappy. War weariness and stuff, but Frederick is up to 2.2 times the strength of Alexander now, so there is a possibility, 2.3 times, so he's probably winning in war. Alexander is losing units, but is not losing cities, and that is the important part with 20 turns left of the game. 14 cities still for Alexander, even though Frederick now is 2.3 times as strong. Plastics next for Frederick, 25 to 14 is still the city count, and Frederick is not able to win it. 16 turns left. I am afraid this is a bit too late, unless he can grab a few cities really quickly now. Frederick, your last chance to win this game, and you don't seem to be up to the task. Turn 489, it's only 10 turns left, and we have a peace treaty. That's it. Alexander with 13 cities has defended himself to a point. Frederick is not going to be able to win this at all unless he is close to a cultural victory. And Alexander, how close are you to any cultural victory? I have no idea, because I don't see any Alexander things on the screen right now. We have focus on Frederick as the home leader. 4 turns left. I am holding this game as a draw with 2 turns left unless something happens. Unless Alexander suddenly gets his third city up to legendary. I don't think he will. And here we are getting in to turn 500, and that is a time, and that is a draw. Frederick, he was the strongest leader throughout the game. He failed to take advantage. Alexander defended himself to 1 point and a draw. So I guess we'll have to congratulate Alexander with not losing the game, but I am disappointed in Frederick. He really should have made this one a 2-pointer. He did not. Let's go take a look at the replay. This was one of the most frustrating games to watch, especially from a military perspective. There were 8 war declarations, Frederick 6 and Alexander 2. Of the 6 wars that Frederick declared, he managed to get 1 win, but 5 of them were standoffs, with no cities won or lost. Alexander at least didn't do that. He won 1 victory and lost 1 of the 2 wars he declared. Man, let's go and take a look at the statistics to see. Here we have the graphs. We see that Frederick is number 1 in score for the most part of the game. Pretty even though we see Frederick is a little bit above. Manufacturing, we see Frederick a little bit above. Food, here is an advantage to Frederick. Power, they were actually pretty even far into the 20th century, despite Frederick having almost twice the number of cities as Alexander. So yeah, I don't know about that. Culture, Alexander was actually number 1 in culture. Espionage, that was Frederick. Demographics, Frederick 1440, Alexander 1056, and then we see, let's take a look at the population then, 27 million Germans, 11.5 million Greeks. And we look at the wonders, not so many wonders, only the Great Wall in the BC era, that was in Berlin. Frederick with the number 1 city, then Alexander 2, Alexander 3, Alexander 4, Frederick is 5 and Frederick is 6, so they shared the top 6 cities between them. Statistics, Frederick with 25 cities, he raised 1 and got 3 golden ages, 0 religions founded. 51 windmills, 37 towns and 27 mines is what you have. You built in your cities 25 forges, 25 granaries, 24 barracks, down to 3 universities. Page down. Broadway, Versailles, Taj Mahal, that's a good one. Stonehenge is here, University of St. Great Wall. Statue of Zeus, Mausoleum of Solos is good. Hanging Gardens is good. Colossus Oracle is here. Academy built, Sistine Chapel. And the pyramids. So let's go to the top. Current units for Frederick: 78 infantries, 26 workers, 19 marines and 19 panzers, down to 1 workboat. You did build a total of 67 war elephants, 53 workers, 51 knights, all the way down to 11 transports, page down, and 1 trebuchet at the bottom there you killed. Let's see, 44 frigates, 42 catapults, 39 grenadiers, down to 1 archer, page down. And that was basically it. Okay, you lost 61 war elephants, 49 knights and 32 cannons, down to 1 destroyer. So let's take a look at Alexander then. 15 cities built, 7 religions founded, 1 golden age, with 33 towns, 29 windmills and 9 workshops currently in his empire. 15 barracks, 15 granaries and 13 lighthouses, 2 castles did you build, page down. You got spiral minaret, you got, a lot of stuff here, not so, Moai statues, apostolic palace, great library, great lighthouse, Jewish synagogue, and you built 1 market. Okay, currently you have these units, 58 infantry, 19 cavalry, 11 workers, and you got the caravel down at the bottom. You did build a total of 47 catapults, 41 cavalry, 36 frigates, all the way down to 10 phalanxes. Let's go page down. And a great artist at the bottom here. Confirmation of your kills: 61 war elephants, 49 knights and 32 cannons, down to 1 destroyer. Your losses were 44 frigates, 42 catapults, 39 grenadiers, down to 1 archer, and that was it. So I guess this has been a game where Frederick disappointed by showing his lack of military leadership. Let's go take a look at the victory condition screen and the cities. Right, let's get on to the victory conditions then. It looks like both leaders were very far away from culture. Nobody is close to 50,000 on their biggest city even. Frederick has most population but only 58.97% of the land area, which was very far away from the 74% that you need. And that means that conquest is not even a possibility here. Not built any Apollo program. Alexander built the Apostolic Palace, but they are not they are not friendly, so that's no choice. Far away from anything. So let's exit and go take a look at the 26 German cities then. Let's sort them by population as always. And we see he's building the Kremlin in Karlsruhe. And apart from that, some assembly plants and some units across the board. Size 16, Hamburg and Stuttgart, and then a lot of 14 and down. We see Rostock, size 6, bottom. Oh, Rostock was the last city, okay. So that's all the cities that were for Germany. Let's go exit and take a look at the Greek cities. Okay. Okay. Well, let's take a look at the cities then. Athens 16, Pharsalos 13, Argos 12, Ephesus 12. Thebes down to 5. He could lose a city this turn, so let's hope. Well, building some factories and some units, and basically that's it. Size 16 Athens is the biggest one. Spoiler alert, results and updated league tables follows after this screen. The table shows that Frederick now is in 11th with his 2 points and a -1 score per turn difference. Alexander is in 8th with his 3 points and a -14 score per turn difference. In a little while we have the next game, the last game of the day, between Ragnar and Darius I. So I welcome you back, I hope to see you then. But this has been it for now. This has been Kjotleik. Welcome back to the next game.